What's up, everybody? It's your boy Season. So today, this is going to be like a continuation of the Gundam shopping in Japan vlog. And so what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to kind of take you through the process that I used as far as getting my ticket, getting the hotels, all of that. I went with a party of 3 the first time and a party of 4 the second time. And for me, I had to kind of set up the entire trip. So I'm going to take you through some of the sites and things that I used. So let's get into that. All right, so first things first, what I'm going to show you is, of course, when you're going to be traveling out of the countries. This is for people that are living specifically in the United States, but I guess you could, this goes for everybody else as well. Of course, you're going to want to get your passport first. Okay, so that goes without saying. You're not going to be able to go in or out of the country without your passport. In America, it usually takes about a month or so, but depending on any kind of like conflicts or whatever, depending on where you're going, you definitely want to make sure that you get your passport early. Okay, so first things first, after you get your passport, what I usually do when I'm going to plan for a trip, I usually know that I'm going to be going within 2 years, right? So I usually try to plan out between a year and a half and a year in advance. That's a long time, but we're going to get into why I start looking right around that time versus looking at a shorter time. So first things first, you want to try to book your tickets. And when you're booking your tickets, I found, at least going to Japan. Now, I live pretty much in the Midwest to the West Coast. So for me, I tend to go through LA. All right. So this is Skyscanner. This is a great place to use. They both have, both of the sites that I'm going to be talking about today. They have a app that you can download on, Apple or Google or whatever, or you can go through their online site. I usually use their apps, but just for today, I'm going to be using their websites. So what you've got here is so we've got Skyscanner here. This is the first one, okay? And in the Skyscanner, for me, now I've already picked out my days, which is Sunday, October 13th through the 21st. Now, as far as I am concerned, when it comes to traveling to Japan, I tend to go in October. Why, you say? Why don't you go in the spring? That's when cherry blossom season is and all that. Number one, cherry blossom season is extremely crowded, okay? It is extremely crowded. Also, me going there is going to be extremely hot in the spring, in the summertime. I've found that the best time to go to Tokyo is in October. Both times I've went, both years, which were 5 years apart, it was perfect weather all the way through, not even rain. It was literally 70 degrees all the way through. And to me, that is perfect weather, not too hot, not too cold, and especially because you have to remember, Japan is an island. So therefore, it's going to be extremely humid during the summer, right? So I tend to go in the fall, right? That's the time that I go. Of course, you can go whenever you want, but that's just my personal preference, okay? Now, for me, I always try to go through LA. Why? Because LA tends to have the most flights going to Tokyo. Okay. When you're going to Tokyo, you have to decide on which airport you're going to go to because there's two main ones, right? The first one is Narita. All right. Narita is probably about 30 to 45 minutes outside of the city of Tokyo. Okay. To where Haneda, which is HND, this is Narita here. So it's NRT is the 3-letter acronym. And then Haneda is HND. All right. Haneda is pretty much right in the city or right on the outside of the city. So it's easier if you're going to your hotel or whatever, or you're having somebody pick you up to go through Haneda than Narita. I picked a limousine service for the Narita portion, and it took us probably about 45 minutes by van in order to get to our hotel. So it's a lot further out. Even though I personally prefer the Narita airport, Haneda is just more convenient for, I think, your average traveler. Okay. So, but also the reason why I go through LA, because like I said, you have multiple airlines that go there on a daily basis. So of course, I've never heard of Zip Air, but as you can see, that's $631. That's not bad, right? So even let's say you're coming from, let's say like you're coming from Cincinnati, Ohio, or something like that. From Cincinnati to LA, you're going to pay maybe what, 250, 300, maybe even 350. So just add that onto your price because usually your prices are going to fluctuate throughout the year. And what I've noticed is I've found that the best time for me personally to buy tickets is usually the year prior to when I'm leaving. So if I'm leaving in 2025, I would probably buy it around, let's say, the end of 2024. If I'm going back to, because I actually do want to go back to Tokyo next year, I'll probably start looking for tickets within the next couple of weeks. When we bought our tickets this last time for October, we bought them in December. It was roughly Christmas Day of 2022, even though we didn't leave till October of 2023. So the further out you get, usually the better off your prices is going to be versus if you're trying to plan it for like say 3 months or 6 months from now. You're usually going to pay a lot more, right? So 631's not bad. That's actually the cheapest one that they have. I've never heard of Zip Air, but I've heard that there is kind of like a discount airline that does go to Tokyo. Maybe that one is it. But also, as you see, you've got Singapore Airlines, you got Japan Airlines, you've got Delta, you've got American. Now, normally I fly through American just because I like the Dreamliner. The Dreamliner is a great aircraft, especially for long flights. Now, if you have a little bit of money and you're like, look, man, like I can get maybe not first class, but maybe you can get like economy plus, it's worth it. It's worth it for for long flights. You can go like regular economy for your trip to LA, but from LA to Japan, because that trip is usually going to run you anywhere between 11 to 13 hours in flight, because I just picked a normal seat. I did not get the economy plus or the premium or whatever. Now, if you've got the money, then, what I always say is this: go ahead and book whatever price point that you want to hit, and then put maybe an extra $500 so you can upgrade your seat if you can. I found out that tends to be the best way. Now, usually what I'll do is I won't upgrade my seats on the way there, but I'll upgrade my seats on the way back. And so I found that tends to be the best way for me to do it. Okay. But yeah, as I said, you've got multiple different flights here. Okay. And then usually with Skyscanner, you can get a notification that says gets price alerts. And what they'll do is they'll send you an email that will tell you what the current price is. I usually get them, I would say anywhere between 3 and 4 times a week. I get those alerts, and you can use this not just for flying out of the country, but you can use this in country as well. But I found that Skyscanner is a very good tool that you can use to manage your prices. Now, I don't normally buy these things on these sites. I just use this as a tool to find out what the prices are, right? Now, you can book hotels and car rentals through these as well. I always go usually direct. I don't like taking multiple stops, just because if there's some sort of problem, weather, things of that nature, you're already flying a long distance, you're going to be extremely tired. It's going to be difficult, if you've got multiple stops. Like, I don't like to fly that way. Some people do. You can usually get the cheaper prices that way, but I like to go direct all the time. And then, of course, you can pick what time you want to leave and stuff like that. So you can even narrow it down even further. If you say, like, for me, like, even though Frontier doesn't go to Japan, I hate Frontier, so therefore I'll never fly Frontier, so I'd always check them off. But as you can see, and it kind of gives you the different flights for the different airlines as far as which ones that you want. So I use this. So you can use this one as well. Now, the second one is actually Hopper, right? And actually, this is the one that I used in 2018. I actually used Skyscanner the most for the previous trip that I just went on in October. But for Hopper, it's kind of relatively the same thing. So of course, I've already got the departure date and the return date. I've got it from LA to Tokyo. Okay. Now, like I said, here you can, if you want to go straight through Haneda, you can do that, or Narita. Haneda seems to have a lot more flights going through there than Narita for whatever reason, even though I prefer the Narita airport. But anyway, so we've already got that set up. So of course, you've got it here. And then of course, it looks like you got Delta for 988. You've got Singapore Airlines. Some of these flights may be the same that we saw on Skyscanner, but maybe not. Also United. United is a good one to take, but United is extremely expensive to fly. They always have been. And as you see, they go through Haneda, but it also looks like they've got one going through Narita. And so it's roughly, like I said, about $1,000. Now, normally for both of my flights, I think I spent total about $850-ish, give or take. That's without tax, of course, right? So you can wait on the prices, but as you see, you can take Singapore over there. You can take, Alaska over there, right? You can take, of course, this is more American. You got Anna. I always wanted to travel Anna, but Anna is extremely expensive. I've heard that their customer service is top notch, but for me personally, that's too much money on a flight. I'm not spending $2,400 on a flight. I'm sorry. I don't care how much money I make. So, so you got that. So you just have multiple things out of here, right? And then you just want to factor in what your ticket price is going to be. Let's say you live in Las Vegas and you're going to LA, roughly that flight's going to be an extra, $150 to $200. And then you want to make sure that your times work out correctly as far as booking your flight. I usually put mine out to where, like, let's say I'm going to Tokyo from LA. I always plan it to where I have at least 5 hours at the airport before I have to go on the other flight. Just because if there's some sort of delay, if there's some sort of weather problem, you still have time to make your flight and you don't have to go through and try to rebook everything. And that can be a nightmare. You're already tensed up because you've never been out of the country, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I usually do for that. So of course, Hopper is a good site to use as well. You can use both of them if you like at tandem. That's usually what I do. But most of them are pretty much telling you the same things. Okay. So you can do it that way. You can do it if you want to just do one-way tickets. You can do it that way as well. I usually just do round trip because, of course, I plan on coming back to the States. So that's what we've got for the actual sites that I use to book my tickets. Now let's get into like the hotels that I stayed at. Okay, so let's take a look at the hotels that I stayed at. So of course, in 2018, which was the first time I went, we stayed at the Hilton in Odaiba. And this is an amazing hotel. I love it. It was perfect. I have nothing but good things to say about this place. There's only one negative, and I'll get into that shortly, right? But Hilton Odaiba is right on the harbor. This is literally like a 5 to maybe like 7 minute walk from the Unicorn Gundam over in Diver City. I call it Odaiba, but the place is actually called Diver City, right? So it's right there. This is a very peaceful place. There's not like a ton of like things going on around in Diver City. Of course, there are eateries and stuff of that nature, but if you're looking for a time to just like relax with your wife or your significant other, or with your boys and all that, you want to go to a really fancy hotel, I love the Hilton Odaiba. It is an amazing place. So, of course, this is the twin room, and I think this was pretty similar to the one that I had. I had this one or a king. I can't remember. But actually, I think it was more like this one here because I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she didn't want to stay at no rinky-dink hotel. So we had to pay. So, but of course, then also they also have a really good buffet there, or for breakfast. Serve American style, so of course eggs, pancakes, stuff like that, but they also serve Japanese stuff, so rice, a lot of fruits, a lot of veggies, stuff like that. But this was a really, really great hotel. I have nothing but positive things to say about this hotel. They did have a pool. A lot of people tend to get married over here too, so that is a good spot for that. They do like massages and things like that. It's a really big hotel. So, you can do a lot of stuff here. You can set up meetings and stuff. And then this, of course, is the lobby here. And I do have a video of this. If you haven't seen it in the video already, I will do that. And of course, I will put all the links for the different places that I'm talking about today. I will put those in the description. But yeah, I love this place. So now we're going to get into the fallback of this place. Okay. So we're going to go, I've already got it already preset, October 13th through the 21st of October. This is for 2024. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to check rooms. Okay. And let's let this load. So that's pretty much 8 nights. Okay. And so what you see is now you got a plethora of different rooms that you can pick from. You got the king guest room, all right, and then you got your deluxe rooms. Those get bigger and they get more expensive, of course, as you go up. So you got the king deluxe, you got the twin superior deluxe. So it keeps going, premium deluxe. Like you can go all the way up, all right. And so for your average person, there's no need to get like deluxes. You're not going to be staying there that long, But if you're somebody who likes the finer things in life, you like, or you're balling out of control or whatever, you can go up higher. But for us, when I went the first time, I think we had the, I want to say the twin guest, I think. And so, as you see, that's 36,819 yen. So let's go to our converter here and put in 36,000. What was it? 819, I think, was the price. Let me go back here. Yes, 36,819. Okay. So what that is, that's roughly about $250 a night. That is a lot. So like I said, this is for people who are kind of like balling out of control. Hey, money is no object, for this is actually not a bad price, right? But for your average person to spend, especially for 10 days or whatever, that's quite a bit of money for 10 days. That's roughly what, $2,500 just on your hotel, which is almost 2 times your ticket price just to get there. So this hotel is not for everybody. If you're like, hey man, that's too much for me, hey, I totally understand. It's just, but this is the option. And I can only tell you about the things that I actually experienced. I actually stayed here. I loved this hotel. I did not stay there the second time because it was a little too expensive. And even though I was willing to fork over the money, the people I went with were not. Okay. So I have to throw them under the bus a little bit because I really wanted to stay here again because I really did love this hotel, right? So it's actually not very far from, if you do have to ship things back home to yourself, there is a Japanese post that's not too far from here. And so, even though there's not a lot of places to go in this area, there is still, enough that you can get by with. And it's not like you're going to stay there. There's actually a train station that's actually right here. It's like right there. So it's right next to there. But the thing about going to this from this hotel is that it's a decent time away from most of the places in the city. So let's say you're going to go to Tokyo Tower, right? And to do that, you're going to have to get on the train right at the hotel, then go to like Akihabara or one of the other major JR rail stations, and then go to Tokyo Tower, and you're going to have to figure out how to do that on Google Maps and all that. And I'll actually talk about that in another part, right? So this is what you've got for Hilton Tokyo Odaiba, right? So of course, let's go and let's just play this game here, and let's see, okay, well, what is the most expensive room that they have, right? Well, they've got the Royal Garden Suites. I don't know anybody that's going to be using that, but I guess if you wanted to, like I said, you're balling out of control, it's going to be $133,578 a night. So let's look at that and see what that is. So let's see, 133. What was it? 578. Okay, 78. So that's roughly $900 a night. That's too rich for my blood, but like I said, if you're balling out of control, money is no object. Hey, why the heck not, right? So that's the most expensive one. Of course, like I said, you don't need to do that. I think for your average person, this one is fine. And even that's a little high, for these two, the twin. But let's say, hey, you're traveling with a bunch of friends, or, let's say you're traveling with 4 or 5 people, right? And let's say, one person doesn't mind getting sleeping on the floor or whatever, or they can bring in an extra bed. You can always ask for that. Now, that doesn't mean that they'll necessarily do it, but you can always ask that stuff ahead of time, right? So, like, let's say, you guys are going to get this, one person sleeps at the head, one person sleeps at the foot, or whatever you got going on there, right? Then you guys can split it, right? So 36,819, let's go here, 36,819. So that's roughly about $125 per person. That's not that bad. I mean, I've seen way worse than that, right? So, like I said, this hotel is for your ballers, but to me, it's a really good hotel. I have nothing but good things to say about it. I loved my stay here, but you are going to pay, okay? So next up, we stayed at this was in October. We stayed at the Rim Hotel in Akihabara. All right, that is the one that you want to go to. This one is pretty much in the heart of everything. So if you are an anime fan, all you want to do is go to anime stores and go to all of that crazy stuff that was talked about in the Gundam shopping video. This is the place that you stay. Okay, it's not even close. All right, so let's say, because I think on this site, let's pick a day here. Let's see if this is working. I may need to refresh this. Hold on. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's take a look here. Does it have any? Yeah, okay. So, of course, this is your room here. So, these rooms are a lot smaller than the Hilton Odaiba, but the location is premium, okay? And so, like, if you look at this picture, that's pretty much the room that I stayed in, right? Let's go back here. Let's move this back. So, of course, this is your bed here. You have a massage chair. That massage chair comes in handy, especially when you've been walking all day with 50 pounds worth of luggage on you. The first day that I came here, because actually when I went in October, I kind of tweaked my back on the day before I went. And so my back was really hurting. I had to carry all this electronic equipment with me, and I did not have it shipped to the hotel with all the other stuff. And I'll get into how you do that in the next part. But for this part, yeah, this is a really good place. You gotta, of course, you got a shower there. You got a toilet. You do have like a door here, so it's not like it's not like it is kind of sectioned off here. Okay, so you've got that. So okay, let's look at the dates. Okay, so we're gonna get a chance to see what this is now. For the Rim Hotel, I've noticed that they don't have anything in October, right? Because I've already kind of looked at this stuff before I was going to do this video. So let's go to like May, and we're going to use roughly the same dates, okay? And then we're going to go 8 nights because that's what it was, okay? Number of adults, blah, 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 okay? So we're going to check the rates here. All right, so for this, now, of course, you can choose your rooms. Now, also, this is something, too, that I probably need to mention as far as Japanese rooms. There are certain rooms that are smoking. There are certain rooms that are non-smoking, okay? Smoking in Japan is still relatively a big thing for adults. So you don't want to get a room that smokes, like where they're smoking, just because it smells terrible. It's not good. So I always go for non-smoking, but there is smoking rooms if you do smoke, or if you're okay getting a room that allows smoking. So you've got that. So of course for this one, this is the average per night for one person is $14,488. So let's go in here and let's put this in here. 14,000 was it 488? Roughly about $98 a day. That's not bad compared to the Hilton, all right, Odaiba. Like that one is significantly better. This is like for your average person, and this is the place. Just the location itself is worth that. Could you get multiple like beds? I use those single bed. I don't think there's enough room for 2 people to sleep in there, unless 2 people don't mind, sharing a bed. Of course, if you're with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, that's fine. But if you're traveling with friends, I don't know if there's enough room to where you could have 2 people stay in this one room. But at $98 a night, that's not bad. But let's see what kind of other rooms, because I think, do they have any other rooms? Let's go here. Let's go back here real quick. I just want to see something real quick because this is a semi-double. And let's go to, all right. Okay. Now it looks like relatively all the rooms are the same. So but you do have a different type of bed. So you got king, doubles, and twin. Okay. So I was looking to see if maybe they had like a two two twins in there or something, but it doesn't look like they do. Because I'm looking for their biggest room, and I'm not finding it. So, oh well, okay. Well, anyways, so that is a significant price. Now, the thing is, this hotel is right next to Yodobashi Camera. Everybody in that Gundam Shopping for Japan video was asking me about that Gundam shop. It's called the Gundam Specialist Shop on Google. If you search that and just put in Akihabara, it should come up. I will link that in the description of this video, because I had probably about 40 people in the other video ask me, hey, what was the name of that place? Because I couldn't remember what it was when I first got back, but I did find it. So I will put that in the description. But yes, for just the location by itself, this is the place to stay. Now, if you are have a car, or if you're having you're using a taxi or some sort of limousine service or something like that, there is no parking at this hotel because it's right on the street. There is no parking or underground parking. What they do have is right next to the JR rail station, there is like a mini cul-de-sac where all the taxis and stuff line up. You can use that as your spot. And even when I did that on the way back, we used Black Lane. And I'll actually tell you what Black Lane is. This is for your ballers, of course, right? Or if you've got a ton of money to blow, and you're like, hey man, I only get to go to Japan once. I'm going to do the best thing I can. So I'll get into Black Lane here in a little bit. But so what they would do is you would go there and you would meet your taxi driver or whatever there, and then you can just leave. And it's roughly like a 3-minute walk outside the hotel. It doesn't take very long to get there at all. So that's what you've got for your hotels. Now, let's get into Black Lane. Okay, so since this video is getting kind of long, I'm going to actually move the Black Lane segment to part 3 of this actual series. There may be another 2 parts left in this series. I have plenty of stuff to discuss as far as my trips to Japan are concerned. So thank you guys if you've made it to watching it all the way to the end. I hope that you guys did get some good information from it. If you do have questions or comments or anything, go ahead and leave those in the comment section. I do check the comments pretty regularly. So if there's anything I can help you out with, or you've got any questions, just let me know. But anyways, well, thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.